There are days when your emotions pull you like a rushing stream. You have no time to understand what is happening, yet your body is already tense. Your voice rises above its usual tone, and reactions you do not even recognize in yourself burst out like instinct. Just one small detail, a sentence spoken at the wrong moment, a look that makes you doubt yourself, or pressure that has built up for many days, is enough to make your mind sway as if someone is pushing you from behind. You try to appear normal, but inside you feel as chaotic as a dark room that has not been arranged. I have stood in moments like that too. There were evenings when I sat alone, my breath running fast without noticing it, my hands tightening without knowing why. Emotions do not exist only in the mind. They spread into the chest, into the stomach, into every beat of the heart. And then I remembered the words of Epictetus. It is not events that disturb us, but the way we see them. In that moment, I realized that the problem was not that emotions arrived, but how I let them lead me too quickly and too far from my normal state. Stoicism did not teach me to remove emotion. It taught me to see the small space between what I feel and how I respond. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that the human mind can remain still in the middle of a storm as long as we know how to hold it in place. When I understood that, I looked at emotion differently, not as an enemy, but as a signal. And in that moment, I found what the Stoics call the inner fortress, a quiet place beneath layers of chaos that seem impossible to control. Watch this journey unfold in the video. You will learn to recognize emotions earlier, stand firm against impulsive reactions, and remain calm even in moments when the mind is most easily carried away. Calm is not a gift you are born with. It is a skill you can train gently, day by day, breath by breath. If these words resonate with you, write a small reminder. I choose calm, a straightforward line, yet sometimes enough to bring your mind back to its center. And from the moment you begin listening to yourself more, you will see that everything always starts in a very brief second, where emotion slips in softly like a blink. When you recognize that first moment, the entire inner journey within you will begin to shift, gently, profoundly, and more clearly. This is the first step on that path. Lesson 1. Recognizing when your emotions are controlling you. There are moments when emotions rush in so quickly that you can no longer tell the difference between what is a real thought and what is an impulsive reaction. Just one tiny detail, a message left unanswered for too long, a sentence that sounds slightly off, or an unusual expression on someone's face, is enough to make your mind jump to the worst possible story. You feel your body tighten without knowing why. Your voice becomes shorter. Everything in front of you feels distorted, as if your emotions have taken the steering wheel from your hands. And the worst part is that sometimes you do not even notice when it begins. You only realize you have been swept away, and by the time you see it, everything has already gone too far. I once found myself in that exact state during an important meeting. A co-worker asked me a question that was clearly normal in every way, but because I already had tension sitting quietly inside me, the question hit the most sensitive spot. I answered faster than necessary, slightly sharper than usual. When I looked into the eyes of everyone in the room, I saw that I had reacted from emotion, not from reason. After the meeting, I walked alone down a long hallway in the office, the sound of my shoes hitting the floor echoing evenly, and only then did I see it. Everything started from a tiny signal, a brief discomfort that passed through me in the first few seconds, a signal I had not paid attention to. The moment I ignored that signal, I handed over the control of my mind to emotion without knowing it. Epictetus once reminded us that we are not disturbed by events, but by the way we see them. When I first read that line, I understood it with my mind. But only after moments like that meeting did I truly feel the meaning behind it. Emotion is not the enemy. It is only a signal. The problem is that we often let the signal become a command. We do not view emotion from the outside. We stand right in the midst of it. And when you stand inside the storm, everything always appears larger than it really is. One simple yet effective practice to regain control is to acknowledge and name the emotion. When you quietly acknowledge to yourself, "I am angry," "I am anxious," or "I am hurt," you pull yourself out of the spiral and place yourself in the position of the observer. This is very close to the spirit of Stoicism: to see clearly, to name what you see, and to separate yourself from the first reaction. When you name it, you create a small distance. That distance helps you see emotion as a visitor who comes and goes, not as the owner of the room inside you. Next time you feel yourself being pulled by emotion, pause for a moment and quietly ask yourself, "What am I feeling?" A tiny question, yet enough to bring you back to your center, where everything becomes clearer and lighter. And once you begin to notice the moment emotion enters that very brief, tiny opening, you will see another door appear. Because right after recognizing emotion, the next natural step is learning how to create a pause, a breath, a small silence between what you feel and what you are about to do. And in that silence, you will see what truly belongs to you, and what is only a temporary reflex of your emotions. This is the step that leads you into the next lesson, where you explore the power of stopping at the right moment. Lesson 2. Creating a pause before you react. There are situations in life where you react so quickly that you surprise even yourself. Someone says something slightly off, and you respond with a tone sharper than usual. An email irritates you, and you reply immediately, only to read it later and realize you went a bit too far. An unexpected problem arises, and instead of seeing it clearly, you rush into fixing it with a tense mindset, only to make everything more complicated. Those moments feel as if someone has pressed a reaction button inside you from a distance. You don't have time to look, understand, or breathe. And the most essential truth is this: most mistakes we regret live in those first few seconds. I once had a chaotic morning like that. My phone rang just as I was rushing out of the house. A voice on the other end pushed me about an issue we had already agreed on the day before. Tired and tense, I responded quickly, a bit sharper than my usual tone. When I hung up, I saw my own reflection in the glass door. It was not the look of someone who was grounded. It was the look of someone reacting from emotion rather than from choice. During the entire drive to work, I kept thinking about those first 3 seconds. 3 seconds that, if I had paused, taken one breath, and answered with a slower rhythm, everything would have been different. Marcus Aurelius once said that calm begins the moment reaction ends. But for the response to end, you must give yourself a pause, even a very small one. Stoicism does not ask you to be emotionless. It shows you that between emotion and action, there is always a door. And the person with inner strength is the one who chooses to open that door instead of rushing through with impulse. A pause is not weakness. It is the power of someone who knows how to master themselves. When you pause, you not only create space for breath, but you also create space for wisdom, reason, and clarity. One beneficial yet straightforward practice is the technique of pausing for 3 to 5 seconds, combined with a steady 4-second breath. When you feel yourself about to react, inhale for 4 seconds, hold the breath for a natural moment, then exhale for 4 seconds. Just one cycle like that can lower the tension in your body and bring clarity back to your mind. 3 seconds may sound short, but in that time, you regain control. And when you speak or make a decision, you will be doing it from calmness, not from the impulse rising inside you. Next time you feel yourself about to react too quickly, pause for 1 beat and quietly remind yourself, breathe in before you speak. If this line resonates with you, write it in the comments so your mind will remember to return to its inner calm. And as you become familiar with pausing, you will begin to notice something more profound. The pause not only helps you choose your reaction, but it also gives you time to examine the story that is forming in your mind. Because often what stresses you is not the real event, but what you imagine about it. In the moment you pause, you will see the first lines of thought forming, the ones that tend to exaggerate, distort, and create anxiety. By observing those thoughts at a slower pace, you will step into the next doorway of this journey, learning to distinguish what is real from the story your emotions are creating within you. Lesson 3. Not believing the first story your mind creates. There are moments when you hear a completely ordinary sentence, yet your mind twists it into the worst version possible. You notice someone being quieter than usual and immediately think they are upset. Someone has not replied to your message, and you assume you did something wrong. A slight change in someone's expression is enough for you to imagine an entire adverse scenario. Emotion enters first, and your thoughts follow behind it like a shadow. And the most challenging part is this. In that moment, everything you think feels completely real. Real enough that you believe it fully, even though later you know it was only a story created in your mind. I once had an extremely tense afternoon because of a concise message. We need to talk. I was exhausted after a long meeting, my mind stretched tight like a string. The moment I read that message, my mind conjured a series of terrible possibilities. What had I done wrong? How had I disappointed this person? Maybe everything was falling apart without my knowledge. In just a few minutes, I created a vivid story in my head, one so intense that I couldn't even breathe normally. But when we finally talked, I learned that they only wanted to discuss a small plan for the following week. All the confusion, anxiety, and tension I had just gone through were nothing more than the product of imagination fueled by emotion. Seneca said that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. I understood that line most clearly on that day. The fact was only a harmless message, but my tiredness and stress had painted it in dark colors. What hurt me was not the message, but the story I built around it. Emotion exaggerates everything. Something small becomes something big. A vague signal becomes a threat. And when your thoughts are led by emotion, you can no longer see the truth. You only know what you fear. One practice that helps you escape that spiral is rewriting the story into 2 versions. The worst version you are imagining, and the most neutral version based on facts. When you place them side by side, you will see that most fear lives in the space you fill in yourself, not in the event. This technique helps ground your thoughts, giving them their proper shape instead of letting them float according to emotion. When you write it out, you become the observer instead of the one caught inside. Next time your mind starts creating an entire scenario from a small signal, remind yourself, this is only a story, not the truth. A gentle whisper, yet enough to pull you out of the spiral of imagination and bring you back to a calmer perspective. If this resonates with you, write that sentence in the comments so your mind is constantly reminded that you are still in control. And when you begin to recognize that the stories in your mind are not always true, you will see something deeper. Your thoughts and emotions always come with physical signals. Your chest tightens, your breath becomes shallow, your shoulders tense, your heart beats slightly faster. These signals appear before your mind builds the story. If you pay attention to the body, you will see where everything begins. And from that place, the following path will open naturally, not through thinking, but through returning to what you feel in your own body, where your sensations reveal what the mind sometimes hides. Lesson 4. Returning to the body to rescue the mind. There are moments when emotion does not arrive in your mind first, but in your body. Your chest begins to tighten for no apparent reason. Your shoulders lift without you noticing. Your breath becomes short and rushed, as if you are running while standing still. Even something small makes you feel as if someone is pulling you downward. You try to think, to analyze, but the harder you try, the more tangled your mind becomes. In moments like that, you cannot think clearly, because the body is sending an alarm before the mind can understand. And when the body is stretched tight like a string, every thought in your head becomes a knot you cannot untangle. I remember an afternoon not long ago. I had just stepped out of a difficult conversation. No one insulted me, and nothing burdensome had happened. Yet something inside me had been shaken. As I walked down the hallway, I felt each step become heavier. My chest began to contract, and my breath became so shallow that I didn't recognize it. My mind wanted to chase every thought, guessing, fearing, worrying. But what brought me close to panic was not the thinking, it was the sensation in my body. It was at that moment that I had to stop. I placed my hand on my chest, closed my eyes, and followed my breath. In less than a minute, my heartbeat slowed, my shoulders softened, and my mind became slightly clearer. The story was still there, but the way I saw it had changed. I was no longer being pulled away the way I had been at first. Stoicism often reminds us of the deep connection between mind and body. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind is strongest when it is not disturbed by the body. On the other hand, Seneca advised that when the mind is troubled, return to controlling your breath and movement, because the body is the doorway back to calm. It may sound simple, but when you try it, you will understand that strong emotion always leaves its first mark on the body. And when you learn to read those signals, you can stop the emotion from pulling you away before your mind exaggerates everything into a larger story. One effective practice is a 30-second body scan. You do not need to meditate or prepare anything complicated. Just pause. Bring your attention from your head down to your feet and notice where the tension is. Shoulders, chest, stomach, jaw. When you see the area that is tightening, release that exact spot with one long, deep breath. Do not fix, do not analyze. Only observe and let it drop. 30 seconds like that can soothe intense emotion more effectively than any advice you tell yourself in your mind, because a relaxed body always opens the way for a clearer and softer mind. If you have ever felt your body tighten before the thoughts even form, write a small reminder in the comments. I am feeling this in my body. A gentle sentence, but enough to bring you back to yourself when emotion rises. And when you begin to listen to the body more often, you will realize something profound. Those sensations are not you. They are only passing signals. You feel anxious, but you are not the anxiety. You feel angry, but you are not the anger. The moment you see that difference, the moment you recognize that you have space separate from the rising emotion, a new doorway opens. That doorway leads you to the next step of this journey, where you learn to stand aside and see emotion as a visitor passing through, not as the owner of your inner world. Lesson 5. Separating yourself from your emotions. There are moments when you say, I am angry, I am anxious, I am sad, as if your entire being has become nothing but that emotion. When a strong emotion arises, it often fills all the space inside you. You feel as if you are the anger, you are the disappointment, you are the worry. Everything else fades into the background as the emotion envelops you. And because you merge yourself with the feeling, you react as if there is no other choice. When you speak in that state, the words are no longer yours. They belong to the impulse. When you act in that state, the actions are no longer you. They belong to the wave rising inside you. And afterward, you blame yourself for letting it sweep you away too quickly. I once found myself in a similar situation while arguing with a family member. I was tired. My mind already crowded with thoughts from work. A completely ordinary sentence from them suddenly became the trigger. Immediately, I felt a heat in my chest, my breath became heavier, and my voice rose higher than I had intended. I no longer saw them as someone talking to me. I only saw my own emotion expanding like a shadow covering everything. After the conversation, I sat alone for a long time. I realized that in that moment, I had not reacted as the person I truly am. I responded to my emotion. I am not the angriest, but for a few minutes, I had forgotten that. Stoicism always reminds us of an important truth. Emotion is something you experience, not something you become. Epictetus said that we cannot control the first emotion that appears, but we always have the power to choose what happens next. Marcus Aurelius also reminded us that there is a distance, however small, between you and your emotions. And within that distance is freedom. When you separate yourself from the emotion, you are not denying it, you are acknowledging it. You are simply stepping back one small step to see it more clearly, to recognize that it is only a wave passing through, not the essence of who you are. A simple yet powerful practice is to quietly say to yourself, I am feeling this, but I am not this. For example, I am feeling angry, but I am not this anger. I am feeling anxious, but I am not this anxiety. When you add the second part of the sentence, you open a space. That space is vast enough for reason to enter, for calmness to stand stronger, and for you to see that you are not locked inside the emotional wave. This is how you affirm your self-mastery, gently but deeply. If this practice resonates with you, write a brief sentence in the comments. I am feeling this, but I am not it. It is not just a sentence. It is a reminder that you are stronger than the emotion arriving at your door. And once you recognize the difference between yourself and your emotion, you will realize that the space between the two is not only for observation, it is for choosing. At that point, you no longer react by instinct. You can pause, look at what is happening, and decide how to respond in a way that aligns with the person you want to become. As you step into that space of choice, the inner journey will lead you to the next stage, where you learn to use calmness as a compass rather than letting unconscious reactions lead the way. Lesson 6. Choosing the correct response rather than reacting on instinct. There are moments when you say or do something that you wish you could take back immediately after. A sudden comment spoken out of irritation, an action driven by fear, a decision pushed by immediate pressure. These reactions come too fast, as if someone pressed a button for you. And then you wonder, why did I do that when deep down I didn't want to? The answer lies in a simple truth that is often overlooked. When emotion leads, reaction always comes before awareness. You do not choose. You follow the push rising inside you. I remember a time in a meeting when a colleague said something that made me feel misunderstood. I became slightly defensive and responded more intensely than necessary. No one raised their voice, yet I could feel the energy in the room shift because of a few seconds of my impatience. After the meeting, I stepped outside, stood in front of a glass door, and looked at my reflection with tired eyes. I asked myself, did I genuinely want to say that, or did I say it because emotion pushed me? The answer was clear. It was not my choice. It was a reflex. And reflexes often take away what we want to keep: harmony, respect, clarity. Stoicism reminds us that reaction is a choice. Epictetus said that events only have meaning when we choose how to see them. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind can remain still in all turbulence if we know how to hold it before emotion takes control. This does not mean you become emotionless. It means you feel everything clearly, but you do not act from the feeling itself. You let the emotion exist, then let reason walk in with it. You look, you understand, and then you make a choice. And that choice is what builds inner strength. One practical technique is to prepare short self-reminders before speaking or acting. Very short lines, but enough to pull you back into clarity. For example, wait, I can say more slowly. Am I reacting or choosing? By whispering one of these lines in your mind, you create a few extra seconds to decide. And those few seconds are enough for you to choose a response that matches the person you want to become, not the wave of emotion rising in the moment. Over time, you will notice that you no longer snap back immediately. You know how to pause, how to breathe, how to observe, how to choose your words. And others will feel the calmness that comes from within you. If you want to remember this habit, write one sentence in the comments. I choose my response. I do not let my reflex choose for me. A small line, but a promise you make to yourself. When you realize that reaction is something you can actually choose, a small space of light begins to open inside you. From there, you are no longer swept away by the first emotional wave. You see, the moment the emotion appears, you allow yourself to pause, notice the story forming in your mind, feel the tension in your body, and step aside to observe it all. In that space, choice appears, subtle but real. And then you understand that this journey is not about becoming a completely different person. It is about returning to a brighter, quieter, calmer version of yourself, the version you have always carried within, only hidden under layers of rushed reactions from daily life. From here, the doorway to the next step opens naturally, as if the mind itself is inviting you to go deeper into your own inner mastery. The journey back to your inner calm. When you look back at the path you have just walked, you will see that these 6 lessons do not stand apart. They gently connect into a single road leading you inward, where you begin to realize that emotions are no longer something that can pull you away at any moment. From the moment you learn to notice the signals of emotion arriving, to the moment you pause instead of reacting, to seeing clearly that the story in your mind is only a thin layer covering the truth, to feeling your body tighten, separating yourself from the rising emotion, and finally choosing the response that aligns with the person you want to become. All of these steps are guiding you back to yourself. Standing here, you can feel something small but very real. Calmness has never left you. It has only been covered by layers of worry, rushed reactions, and stories your mind builds when you are tired. And now, with each lesson behind you, you have enough tools to touch that quiet place whenever you need it. You do not need to become someone else. You only need to return to your breath, Return to a more straightforward way of seeing. Return to the choice you have always had, but rarely used. From that moment, you will find yourself standing steadier, lighter, and clearer among the things that once shook you. If this journey speaks to you, please leave a brief comment. I choose calm, not as a promise, but as a reminder to yourself that the peace you are seeking has been within you all along. And if you want a place that constantly reminds you of that steadiness, take a second to subscribe to Sovereign Stoic. Not to follow another video, but to keep a quiet corner for yourself each time your mind grows tired and needs to come home. If you know someone carrying heavy days, someone pretending to be fine while feeling crowded inside, share this video with them. Sometimes just one timely reminder is enough to help someone feel they do not have to walk through the storm alone. And as you close this video, carry one gentle truth with you. Calmness has always been inside you. You only need to slow down to see it.